For us, Vinny O'Connor's at Anfield. Pete, good to see you. Firstly to you, look, what has Isak had to say about Newcastle today on his way out?
Thanks, Will. He's basically said thank you, hasn't he, to Newcastle United's supporters and the club. I think there was a period where I think the fans thought he wasn't going to say anything. He'd sort of moved to Liverpool and obviously hasn't played all summer, hadn't played any of the games so far this season. And the signing was announced and there was no mention of Newcastle, no mention of the supporters, no mention of the history. So I think there was a period where the fans were thinking maybe he's not going to say anything at all. But in fairness, in the last half an hour or so, he has come out and he's offered a thank you. There's a video of him scoring goals and he's stopped short of apologising, I think, which some Newcastle fans would have been wanting. But he has given a thank you to Newcastle United supporters and to the football club and mentioned that it's been an honour to get the club back into the Champions League and help them win their first domestic trophy in 70 years. So he has spoken, and that will be appreciated by some, even though, as I'm standing here today, of course, it is the day after deadline day. He has only just moved to Liverpool and it's still quite raw here. There's still a lot of, I suppose, disappointment and anger that a player who was so important for Newcastle United has decided to move away. But I think if we're honest with ourselves, in sort of down the line, like I say, it's still very raw, but down the line, Newcastle fans will hopefully be able to look back with some fondness at the period that Isak played for the club. He, of course, scored the goal in the final that helped them secure that first domestic trophy in 70 years, the Carabao Cup. And I think it's just the nature of some footballers and some people in life. That's just the way it is. If you play for the team that finished second in the league and the team that finished first in the league wants to sign you, some players and some people would like to go that one step higher. That's just the nature. But there are other characters in the game who would stay at the football club regardless, that wear the badge with pride and would not leave despite what temptations may be coming elsewhere. Alexander Isak plays for a team that finished fifth in the league and won the Carabao Cup. He's decided he wanted to move to a team that won the league and will be challenging for the league once again and challenging to win the Champions League. Yes, Newcastle fans are disappointed. Yes, it's still very raw, but down the line, might they look back with some pride and happiness at the period over the last few years? Bearing in mind as well the money that's come in from that sale, they've been able to completely rejuvenate this Newcastle United squad. They brought in a goalkeeper, a defender, a midfielder, a winger and two centre forwards effectively this window as a result of that sale. So I think in time Newcastle fans will probably reflect quite happily on this window in general, and they'll just be hoping to have a big season and no doubt hoping they can get one over Liverpool when they go to Anfield later in the season.
Yeah, Pete, I wonder what the Newcastle players have made of this whole ordeal. It is an ordeal, it's a saga, whatever word you want to use. It's stretched on, hasn't it, for the whole summer, and how their relationship potentially might have changed with Alexander Isak. But Anthony Gordon's had something to say, hasn't he, today?
Yeah, I mean, look, some players have come out and spoken of the friendship. I think Anthony Gordon put something on his social media talking about the friendship and their chemistry on the field. And there's no doubt about it. Gordon and Isak had a great on-field chemistry. You look at Jacob Murphy and Isak as well, particularly last season, how well they played together. I think Sven Botman as well was someone who came out publicly and thanked Alexander and wished him well. That's two players. I haven't seen too many more. I mean, that might be quite telling. I haven't seen, sometimes in these situations, you see the entire squad liking posts and good luck, mate, and all that in the comments. I haven't seen too many players come out. And I think that, Eddie Howe is so all about creating this family environment. His players he wants them to all be best friends and to all feel like a family and to have each other's backs and so on. And I just wonder how many of the players, and I've spoken to some, are disappointed by the way that this summer has played out. Isak, of course, firstly refusing to play in pre-season friendlies, then refusing to go on the summer tour of the Far East, then refusing to pull on his boots and play in the opening Premier League games and that League Cup match as well. So, he's missed a host of matches, and I think there will be players who are disappointed in the way he's gone on this summer. But, football, short memories. I think once the international break's over and Newcastle United get back on the field with the new players in the squad, then all memories of Alexander Isak will soon be gone.
Yeah, and finally, Pete, I just wonder also, how Newcastle feel officially, because if the statement's anything to go by, it was hardly song and verse, was it? But Eddie Howe, as you mentioned, just glad to put it all behind him.
I heard that the typewriter just ran out of ink, unfortunately, so they just had to put it out. No, yeah, it was a very short statement, wasn't it? Just 30-odd words. Mentioned how many games he'd played, but no mention of the sort of goals or anything else. I think it is a bit of a sad end to something. I just think that the Newcastle United ownership and coaching staff and some of the players, as I mentioned, will be disappointed with the way that this summer has played out. But you know what? It's over now. And as a football club, Newcastle United can start moving forward without Alexander Isak in their squad. They know who's here. They've got a full squad of players who want to be here, including those 6 new additions this summer. So, yeah, not a nice end to what was a wonderful sort of marriage in some ways between Alexander Isak and Newcastle United. Let's not forget, he was a fairly unknown player. Real Sociedad, hadn't scored a huge number of goals. Eddie Howe saw something in him that he believed could turn him into a top Premier League player. He brought him to the Premier League, he gave him the platform, he coached him, he improved him, and he's become, without doubt, if not the best striker in the Premier League, then one of the best strikers in the Premier League. But he's now a Liverpool player, a Premier League transfer record, as you said. And and I think Liverpool have signed a wonderful player, and Newcastle United will move on with their new look squad, and will look to try and move on from Alexander Isak just as quickly as possible.
Peter, thank you very much indeed. Well, I'll tell you what, the typewriters from the Liverpool fans have not run out of ink, have they, Vinny O'Connor at Anfield, because they're saying plenty of things about Alexander Isak, and I just wonder how much that guy can take Liverpool to the next level, Vinny. How much that guy can take Liverpool to the next...
Liverpool breaks record and announces historic Swedish star signing for £125 million. On September 1st, 2025, British football witnessed a milestone that will go down in history. The Swedish international was officially presented as Liverpool's new player after a deal that cost an impressive £125 million, a figure that can still reach £130 million on a performance bonus. The transfer not only goes down in history as the most expensive ever made by the Reds, but also becomes the highest transfer fee ever paid in Argentine football, surpassing all previous agreements. The investment shows the club's management's ambition to reinforce the squad decisively, with a focus on keeping the team at the top of the Premier League and fighting hard for the Champions League. The Swedish striker, known for his physical strength, speed and beacon of goal, is enough to be the big name of the season. At 25, he was already accumulating prominence in his former European team and had been attracting the attention of England's giants for at least 2 transfer windows. Liverpool, after months of intense negotiations, finally managed to secure his signature and now places hope for titles in him. For the coach, the arrival of the Swede represents a new offensive weapon. He can play both centrally and through the wing, offering flexibility and the ability to decide in big games. The fans, in turn, already create great expectation to see him on the field with the red shirt, especially in classics and Champions League games. European football experts analyze that the signing, despite being extremely expensive, can be justified by the sporting and also commercial impact. The player's popularity in his home, country and other parts of the world could boost shirt sales and expand the Liverpool brand globally. Furthermore, if he reaches the expected level, the club could have guaranteed one of the biggest strikers of the next decade. Still, pressure is inevitable. Such a high investment brings with it proportional uncertainty. The will be on him every game, and comparison with other big names hired by millionaires will be inevitable. If he corresponds, he could become one of the greatest idols in the club's recent history. Otherwise, he runs the risk of being remembered as one of the riskiest deals ever made by English football. What is certain is that this transfer has already gone down in history, regardless of the next chapters. Liverpool takes the lead in the transfer window and gives a clear signal of their intentions for the season. Fight for all possible titles and give the fans back the glory they always await. And you, what did you think of this millionaire signing of Liverpool? Was it worth the investment, or did the club overdo the amount paid?